Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to the 30 Days of Narcissism. Today, we're going to be talking about the narcissist's lack of insight and lack of guilt. Please keep tuning in to keep seeing the 30 Days of Narcissism, and please subscribe to this channel to keep getting this kind of content. Click on the bell button and you'll also keep getting notifications about new videos. So let's talk about the narcissist's lack of insight, because it's one of those qualities of narcissism that can leave you thinking, is this person really this clueless? Because that's what lack of insight looks like. It looks like a real cluelessness, like they simply just don't get it. And that's because they don't. Insight refers to a capacity for self-reflection. Self-reflection on your own thoughts and feelings and on your impact on other people. And it's that piece that narcissists are really missing. They're really not able to reflect on their impact on other people. In fact, they're the ones who often be like, what did I say? So I think of so many examples of times clients have shared with me how their partner might say something really cruel to them in front of other people, like, yeah, she calls that a job, but she doesn't really get paid. I've never heard of that kind of vice president, have you? And it's not only are there all the other stuff like the jealousy and the competitiveness coming out there, it's what were you thinking when you said that? Do you possibly think that could have felt good for your partner? Because in those instances, if somebody called the narcissist out, there would be a lot of, whoa, what did I say? No, I really respect her. That's why I'm letting you all know that she's a vice president. So it's this, they don't think about their words. In many ways, it's because the narcissist is not self-reflective, because they haven't done the inner work. They often just let this torrent of negative emotion about other people, their jealousy, their envy, their insecurity, it comes out all the time. And that's really what the lack of insight is about. In some ways, it's like the narcissist is somebody with a really messy house inside of them and they can't be bothered to clean it. They just don't want to deal with it. They are very superficial by nature, something we will be talking about, but there is a real superficiality about them, so insight's not going to go with that. The lack of insight with a narcissist is what often leads them to hurt other people, because they don't think about what they say first, and it really collides with that lack of empathy, because they don't self-reflect, because they don't think like, how might this affect someone else? They can really do a lot of damage in their wake simply by not thinking, not because they set out to hurt someone else. In fact, many times that's not even their motivation. They're not even thinking that hard. They just say whatever they want, and then some of their unconscious sort of stuff, their insecurity, kind of comes out, and then it bleeds into their words, and their insecurity, their envy, their jealousy, whatever it is, it comes out. It comes out in a really sort of uncomfortable way. Not only can those words make the person who's the target of them feel uncomfortable, can definitely make other people in the room feel very uncomfortable. I've been in some meetings with very narcissistic people, and their lack of insight and their ability to say things that are really uncomfortable leaves everyone around the table just sort of looking at each other saying, did they really just say that? And yet many times no one wants to be the one to call that person out and say, that's not okay. It takes a lot for the person to be the person who will take the narcissist on, because a lot of us sort of feel like it's not worth the bother. Now this all collides into an interesting space of how narcissists often don't feel guilty. This is a really complicated space with narcissists because they're not psychopaths. Psychopaths definitely don't feel guilt. They don't feel guilt. They don't feel remorse. They just don't feel. Okay? Narcissists can feel guilt, especially when the consequences reflect badly on them. That public show of guilt is what we call shame. And narcissists are very, very prone to shame. But quite frankly, if they don't get caught, they'll often take a don't ask, don't tell kind of policy on that sort of thing. So they don't feel that natural upswell of guilt the rest of us feel that often stops us from doing these bad things in the first place. And once we do, we often start telling people about it, like, this was the wrong thing to do. I shouldn't have done it. Let me return this. Let me make this right. Let me fix this. We've all done some things that we don't cop to, but it usually tends to be petty stuff like stealing Post-its from the office. Not the kinds of big ticket stuff that narcissists try to get away with. It might be, for example, with a narcissist. Lots of narcissists cheat. It's something they do. Whether that infidelity is full on, having sex with someone else, or an emotional impropriety or a micro-cheating setup, it's just what they do. Do they feel guilty about it? A little, but they often do feel they're sort of entitled to it. My wife doesn't have enough sex with me. My husband doesn't pay enough attention to me. I'm looking for a little bit of excitement. I didn't do this at another time in my life. So there is that sense of what motivates them can often make them feel they have a right to it. So they may not feel the level of guilt you'd think one might feel when they're doing something that could so deeply hurt another person. But that lack of insight, that lack of guilt, can really make a relationship with a narcissist feel like a really empty place where you're not seen, where you're not heard, and where only if you're lucky are you going to walk out of most conversations unscathed. Because they're not self-reflective, they'll often hurl insensitive words without thinking about it. Insight is such an important part of who we are. It's why we often are able to pause before we speak. Their lack of it means they often talk first and issue apologies later. Thanks so much for watching. Keep tuning in. Can't wait to have you continue on with us on the 30 Days of Narcissism. And please subscribe to this channel so you can keep getting more of this content. Thanks again. Thanks for tuning into that video. And for more information about narcissism, probably more than you want in one place, I'm really proud to announce that I have a new book that's coming out. And you can already pre-order it on Amazon. You can get the link here. It's called Don't You Know Who I Am? How to Stay Sane in an Era of Narcissism, Entitlement, and Incivility. It's really your one-stop guidebook, your one-stop survival guide to staying sane in an era of social media toxicity, people being rude everywhere from yogurt shops to soccer fields to airplanes to the person in the cubicle next to you. Look for it. It'll give you everything you need to know about how to survive in our new narcissistic landscape. Thanks so much.